So, just a couple of days ago, So Breezy brought out a video that discussed the various different add-on options that he had found for completing your Shadowlands mission table missions. And it was a fantastic video, and he's done a really good job of finding these add-ons for you and explaining the differences between them. And at the end of his video, he concludes that really there's no reason not to have all of these add-ons, because if you have all of them, then obviously it's just more information for you to be able to go on. And that is certainly true. However, one thing that did occur to me when I was listening to that was, okay, so if you've got lots of sources of information, which one's the right one? If they contradict each other, which one should I listen to? So I decided to take advantage of the fact that I have quite a few alts that are all mission table capable at varying different degrees across multiple of the covenants. And I thought I would go ahead and get all of the add-ons that were recommended in the video, as well as also using the weak aura that was popular for quite a while, and decide which one proved to be the most accurate. So let's dive into it. So first up, what add-ons do we have? Now, the first thing that I would like to say is that the video made by Soul is way better than I could ever do for expressing which of these add-ons are best for which aspects of what they do, and as a result I highly recommend that you go and check that video out so you have a good idea of these add-ons and what each of them do or attempt to do. But if you aren't going to watch that, or if you already have and you've forgotten or anything else, then I will give you the quick rundown now. So the different add-ons that we have here are Covenant Mission Helper, which is the box that you see over to the right of the regular mission table UI, that is trying to predict both an outcome as well as a round-by-round prediction of what's going to happen. You have Covenant Mission Success Estimate, the brilliantly named add-on, I must say, down at the bottom, which is going to try and give you an overall outcome, but does acknowledge that it does not take into account the abilities of the mobs. It is simply going to be calculating based off of the numbers that are applicable, i.e. the health and the attack values of all the participants. At the top, the very simple weak aura that is just going to tell you what it thinks is your likelihood of winning or losing at a given moment. I will be honest, I do not know what the number value pertains to. If anyone would like to let me know, please do. But at first I thought it was some sort of like percentage value, but I've had it go into the hundreds, so I don't really know how I could have a 130% chance of defeat. So I'm a little bit at a loss with that. But for the longest time, it was the best that we had available. Now, the last one that we have is Venture Plan, which is the little button that looks like a tome in the bottom left of the default UI. Now, this is the most mysterious of all of the options, as it doesn't actually tell you anything until you click on it, at which point it will give you a projected outcome as well as some little was it any in doubt flavor text. Now, from there, what we're going to do is I have a well-developed Kyrian roster of different troops, a mediumly developed roster of Night Fae troops, and a very poorly developed, just having switched Covenant level of Venthia troops that I'm also going to throw some missions out on as well. I will be recording the projected outcome of all of these add-ons across all of the missions, and then giving you a breakdown of the results. Now, one thing that I would like to acknowledge at this point is, first of all, apologies to any of you Necrolords out there. I simply do not have a character who is capable of doing Necrolord missions right now, so it was not something that I was able to test. And secondly, I will be doing my utmost to try and get as much variance in the projected outcomes as possible, but just a little spoiler, the same sort of patterns did seem to arise, so there are a lot of missions where add-ons would often agree with each other, but very rarely would they agree with a different one of the add-ons. They were often in pairs or maybe in a trio bar one. And as a result, while I tried to get some projections where there was something that was contradicting everything else, that wasn't always fully attainable. And as a result, I did the best that I could. But I figured that the 3 character setup I have is probably more than what a lot of you are using anyway. And as a result, it was the best that was going to realistically be achieved in this test. So let's dive into the predictions. Now, straight up, we're going to start with the Venthia missions. Now, this is simply because it is the easiest predictions to talk through, I was only able to put on 3 missions because of the standard of my Venthia development, and all of them were predicted to be wins by all of the add-ons, with the exception of Mission 3, in which CMSE, or Covenant Mission Success Estimate, the add-on that you see at the bottom of the screen, did predict a defeat, while the others all predicted a win. So the only defeat prediction that we had across all 3 was on the 3rd mission, the Rotbriars mission, in which the CMSE add-on predicted a loss. Next up, let's talk about the predictions for our Kyrian missions. Now, the Kyrian missions, I had 6 that I put on. 4 of them, nice and simple, all of the add-ons were in agreement that I would be victorious on the missions. However, there were 2 exceptions. So, one mission was predicted to be a victory by Covenant Mission Helper, the add-on to the right of the UI, as well as the Venture Plan add-on, the little tome book that you see. The other 2 both predicted a defeat, so someone is going to be wrong there. There was also another mission where both the Weak Aura, the Covenant Mission Helper, and Venture Plan all say a victory. However, Covenant Mission Success Estimate says that it was unsure. Now, this is one thing that I would like to touch on that I was unaware until I started putting these missions on, is that the Covenant Mission Success Estimate, and bit of a spoiler here, but also the Venture Plan add-on, were willing to suggest that there were times when they just simply didn't know, where either there was too much variability or it just simply didn't have the information where it could make an accurate prediction. And that's something that we will discuss later on in our results. And finally, we have the Night Fae missions. Now, this was by far the most varied, so we'll go through it mission by mission. So, one thing that stands out off the bat is that there were 2 missions where both Venture Plan and the Covenant Mission Helper said that we would have victories, whereas the other 2 said that there would be defeats. We did also have another mission where simply Venture Plan said that we would have a victory, whereas the others said that it would be a defeat. We then also had a mission where everything said that it would be a victory, apart from CMSE, which said that it was a maybe and it was too close to call. Then we had a very interesting mission that said that it was a defeat for both CMSE and the Weak Aura, a 79% chance according to Covenant Mission Helper, and Venture Plan simply said that it was too hard to predict the future, and didn't give us any prediction whatsoever. How I'm going to tackle that in our results is probably going to be quite difficult, but why don't we dive into that now and have a look. So first things first, we're going to start with the Venthia missions, because much like our predictions, they were the easiest results to interpret as well. Not surprising, given the fact that when you are lower level, there are less followers available to use, less missions to do. Things are easier to predict, as well as when they've had the information fed into these add-ons to be able to develop their algorithms and decide how they calculate these things. The earliest missions are of course going to be the ones that are most done by most people for the most data points for them to be able to develop their resources from. As a result, the 2 missions that said that they would be victorious by all of the add-ons were indeed victorious, and the final mission, where everything said that it would win apart from CMSE, was also victorious. So that is full marks for everybody apart from CMSE, but of course that is the add-on that does say that it doesn't take into account for abilities. Next up, we have the Kyrian missions, and 4 of the 6 missions, as we already said, were predicted to have victories across the board by all add-ons, and all 4 of those missions were indeed victories, so nice easy full marks across the board for everybody for those. However, our 2 other missions, we had one that said it would be a victory according to Venture Plan and Covenant Mission Helper, but the other 2 said defeat. This mission was indeed a success, and as a result that is points for Covenant Mission Helper and Venture Plan, but no points for the other 2. Now, the other mission said that it was going to be a victory by everybody, apart from CMSE that said it was going to be unsure about making a prediction. The mission was won, so I'm not going to say that there's no points as such for CMSE, more a case of the fact that it refused to participate, and as a result was neither correct nor wrong. But now let's move on to the Night Fae missions. Now, The Nightfare missions, the two easiest to discuss, were the two that once again were predicted victories by Ventureplan and CMH, and the losses by the other two. Both of these missions proved to be successful, and as a result both proved to be a win for Ventureplan and the Covenant Mission Helper, while no points were scored for the other two. Now, we did have another mission, which was simply a victory according to Ventureplan, but all of the others said it was going to be a defeat. The mission was successful, and as a result that is a big win for the Ventureplan add-on. Our two other missions were the ones that were the most complicated in terms of the predictions. So we had our one that was a maybe by CMSE, but a victory for everybody else, and it was indeed a victory. So again, no points for CMSE because it refused to play ball, but points for everybody else. The final and most complicated mission, and unfortunately I must apologise, the one that I failed to record the outcome of, was our mission in the Maw for Solash, that was predicted to be too hard to predict the future by Ventureplan, the 79% success chance according to the Covenant Mission Helper, and a firm defeat according to the other two. This mission did fail. It was the only mission across all 14 missions that I put on that did fail, which is, in my opinion, a correct prediction according to the weak aura and according to Covenant Mission success estimate. But the other two, partial credit. One predicted a 79% chance of victory. We were defeated, but of course it did say that there was a 21% chance of defeat, so I'm not going to hold that against it. Maybe its numbers were correct and we simply just got unlucky. Maybe its numbers were out, we'll never know. So neither a win or a loss in my opinion. And Ventureplan, much the same, it just simply said, I haven't got a clue, mate. And it didn't. So can't really hold that against it because at the end of the day, at least it was honest about it, it didn't know what to say. So finally, the conclusion. Which one came out top on my little experiment? So, in last place, we have a joint between the weak aura and the Covenant Mission success estimate. Now, these both had some failures, and I think it's basically just a product of the fact that the others have been developed more recently, and essentially these add-ons are just a little bit too simple to accommodate for the ability usage, and as a result they aren't going to be completely accurate. If you are going to ditch some of the add-ons, then I would say that the weak aura certainly offers the least, and Covenant Mission Success Estimate is not going to be the gold standard of prediction. It does, in my opinion, still hold some value, because I feel as though it helps me to feel that if a mission is predicted success elsewhere, but failure on Covenant Mission Success Estimate, that it would, in fact, be quite a close call. It helps me know that maybe I want to tweak things to make it a better chance to succeed, because I am on that borderline. But other than that, I would say that you have better options. The one that I would put in second place is going to be your Covenant Mission Helper. It wasn't 100% accurate, but it did have some advantages over some of the others. And one of the features that I really like about this, I don't really care for the feature that a lot of people are talking about dramatically, which is the round by round breakdown. That does give you a lot of confidence when you see that they are prepared to show you their workings, as it were. And you can see how accurate that was when you complete the mission and you can look at the breakdown. However, the thing that I really like about it was in that Maw mission, although we didn't get the victory that they said there was 79% chance of, it did tell me originally that it wasn't sure. I was asked to press a button to calculate, and it gave me a percentage value. It didn't just say, no mate, it didn't say, yeah, for sure. It gave me a likelihood, and I feel like the numbers help you to make an informed decision, whereas just do it, don't do it, is going to be, as much as it's what a lot of people want, it's inherently too simple for the complicated nature of how the missions work now. However, in first place, I am definitely going to put Ventureplan. Ventureplan is pretty fantastic. It's got no inaccurate results across all of the tests that I did. It wasn't technically wrong on any of the 14 missions. Now, that being said, it does have some failings. Most notably is going to be that it did have missions where it said it wasn't sure. It didn't give you any information. And I'm not classing that as being wrong. Like I said, it's not wrong if you don't give an answer. It's not great, you're not got it right either, but it's not technically wrong. The one thing that I would have to give it is the fact that it is the only one at any point that had a disagreement with all of the other add-ons, and it was right. It stood its ground when it said that I could complete the Baron Hallis mission on my Night Fae characters, when all 3 others said that it was going to be a defeat. That, in my opinion, is enough to give it first place. The fact that it was able to do something that the others were not, and it was proved to be right. Now, I don't know what happened there, but quite frankly, I think that the fact that all 3 other add-ons said so conclusively that it was going to be a defeat was a sign, in my opinion, that either this is something has been updated a little bit more recently in Venture Plan, and that is why it had the edge. It knew a bit more updated information and it was able to get the victory that way, which again would make it the best add-on because it's the one that's being kept up to date the best. Or simply, it just has the best calculation algorithm within it. Either way, I am naming Venture Plan the absolute winner. Now, I will have to go on the record here as saying, however, I don't see any reason to not use all of the options available. None of them get in the way of each other, they all work in harmony with one another, and having all of the extra sources of information is always going to be the best. No matter what decision you are making in life, you want as much information as you can possibly have, so that you can make an informed decision. That being said, if you do want to listen to one of these add-ons over the other, if you ever have a situation where there are add-ons that are disagreeing with each other, I would certainly say that Venture Plan holds more weight in my decision-making process than any of the others, but the CMH is also going to be pretty well respected as well, giving a lot of value to its predictions, especially when Venture Plan doesn't volunteer any sort of estimation whatsoever. But that's going to about wrap it up for today's video, guys. I do hope that you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in any of these add-ons, or of course the Soul So Breezy video that I referred to earlier, all of it will be linked in the description below. But for now, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Later.